What's up? This is Tom Froming from twinsdaily.com, and we're going to talk about some projections, specifically as it relates to the Twins left field and potential DH situation. We're going to talk about Steamer, and we're also going to talk about Zips, which was created by Dan Szymborski of Fangraphs. Make sure to support their work. I actually pulled the Steamer numbers from Fangraphs as well. Tons of resources that they have there. Appreciate everything that they do. But the two things I want to point out before we get into it is these are computer projection systems. These are not biased in any way. These are just robots spitting out numbers, basically. And as Dan points out, something that's very important to remember is that, especially in regard to Zips, it's important to remember that the bottom line projection is, in layman's term, only a midpoint. So keep that in mind as we pull over to these projections. And I have these all around just offensive rate numbers. I didn't want to take into playing time, plate appearances, counting stats into account on these, just sort of simplify things in that regard. So in the left field situation, we're looking at the three guys in-house who are looking to, take that job. It's either going to be Alex Kirilloff, Jake Cave, or Brent Rooker, and then just throwing Eddie Rosario in there for reference because he's the guy they're going to be trying to replace. Yes, the Twins might bring some outside help in for this as well, but we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there, I suppose. And take a look at how much Steamer likes Alex Kirilloff. And some of these numbers that might not look really all that impressive jumping off the page, a 775 OPS, and, he's projected to be worse than Eddie Rosario. But, keep in mind, that's actually a pretty good projection for a guy who's going to be a rookie. And I'm not sure how these projection systems accounted for having there not being a minor league season. Let's say Kirilloff would have played a minor league season and crushed it. He would have had a much better projection, I would assume, on these systems. So, and the other thing to keep in mind with Steamer is it really likes Brent Rooker quite a bit, almost as much as Alex Kirilloff. Now we take a look at Zips, and it's sort of the opposite situation in regard to Rooker and Cave. Zips doesn't like Rooker nearly as much as Jake Cave. And you can see here, Alex Kirilloff still comes out on top in on-base percentage in both of these projection systems. And you can see, both of these projection systems give Eddie Rosario the edge in slugging percentage, on OPS, on weighted on-base average. Look at their track records. It's easy to see why a computer-generated system would prefer Eddie Rosario. So these are the numbers they're trying to replace. I think even just on these projections, things are close enough to where you can see the logic behind the Twins non-tendering Eddie Rosario for the potentially $9 to $10 million. I don't think the Twins probably use Steamer or Zips, but I'm confident they probably have an internal computer projection system that they've used, that they've looked at all this same kind of stuff in their own sort of models in this way. So keep that in mind. These projections, suggest that Eddie Rosario is fairly replaceable. As we kind of turn the page over to the designated hitter situation, I've selected Nelson Cruz and Marcell Ozuna, Michael Brantley, and Kyle Schwarber to take a look at. Brantley and Schwarber, we know they've shown interest in. Ozuna, they have not. But I kind of wanted to throw in one of the top-tier free agents. He's like a top 5 free agent this offseason. Ozuna is. And just throw these numbers out there and take a look. So as you can see, Ozuna just crushes in all of these. He's coming off, an excellent season, led the league in home runs, was an absolute beast for the Braves. So no surprise that he's projected to do very well. He's still only 30 as well, so he's in his prime. Cruz and Brantley, especially Cruz, obviously, getting up there a bit. And then Schwarber. Schwarber is a guy who, I didn't really have all that much excitement over, seeing his name become available after he got non-tendered and then kind of seeing the Twins linked to him. But man, this guy can really hit. He's got great exit velocity, great hard hit numbers. I think he had 38 home runs in 2019, and that was the last full season we just had. He was a monster for the Cubs. So taking a look at these, obviously we have Ozuna really shining in both Steamer and Zips. Michael Brantley is more of the batting average on base guy, little less on the slugging, projections, of course. And then Schwarber played quite a bit of outfield. He's never going to be very good out there. But as you can see, I mean, especially when we look at him and Nelson Cruz, OBP for Steamer, the same. Slugging gives Schwarber the advantage. OPS gives Schwarber the advantage. WOBA gives Schwarber the advantage. Zips, very similar. Schwarber on base percentage, slugging by a very slim margin. So therefore, of course, OPS and weighted on base average. Now, Nelson Cruz is going into his age 41 season. Kyle Schwarber is only 27 years old. I think that, I don't want to say that surprised me that I was that young, but that's something I just didn't really, click until sort of looking at these numbers and realizing like what, kind of thinking like he's coming off a really bad 2020 season. Number one, that's a small sample size. Number two, he's in his prime right now and really looking to take the next step. He's the guy who's already got a couple 30 home run seasons under his belt. So it's not really at all surprising to see these projection systems put some impressive numbers onto Schwarber. The one thing that I will say about Cruz, though, is he's crushed all these projections the past probably like 6 years at least, because, these projection systems use historical data and sort of forecast out guys around the same ages even. And of course, Father Time is going to catch up to everybody eventually. No one hits like Nelson Cruz when they're 40. He's been the second best hitter in baseball since joining the Twins behind only Mike Trout. Just incredible. And as you can see here, even these projection systems still have him at putting up some big numbers. These would represent a pretty deep drop off from where he's been the past 2 years, which is just sort of speaking to how unbelievably productive Nelson Cruz has been the past 2 seasons. But if you're the Minnesota Twins front office, you're not going out there buying the last 2 off seasons of Nelson Cruz. You're trying to find the best hitter for 2021. And when you look at this, some of these other options stack up really well. Now, there's also, there's more to it than just the numbers and the projections. Nelson Cruz is a very plus human being. He is a tremendous example for his teammates on and off the field. His routine is basically legendary now, and having guys in your clubhouse learn from someone who's taken care of himself to the point where he can produce this late into his career has some kind of value that is hard to put a dollar amount on. Anybody who is a little nervous that Nelson Cruz is still out there, that things aren't developing as far as getting him back, I would say buckle up. It's probably going to be a while. I think it's smart of him to wait until we do have a concrete decision on the DH is for as long as possible. But at this point, I don't think Cruz is in a hurry to sign. I don't think the Twins are in a hurry to go above and beyond to really make him sign, to sort of sign a deal that doesn't make sense for them. But again, it's looking at some of these other options. I'm not sure that they're going to go all the way up to Ozuna because he's going to take a pretty significant financial commitment. But these are sort of your guys who I do think will be available on 2-year deals in Brantley and Schwarber, although Schwarber's age might get him into that 3-year deal conversation. And, if the Twins opt to give a 2-year deal to a younger Michael Brantley and in his prime Kyle Schwarber over 41-year-old Nelson Cruz, I can see the logic there. And certainly these projection systems suggest that as well. So I just found these interesting. I think we're probably going to do some additional videos on these projection systems because they're fun. So have fun with these. Let me know what you think. Kyle Schwarber, I'm kind of coming around on him. I'm kind of coming around on Kyle Schwarber as a guy the Twins. It would be pretty amazing to watch him and Miguel Sano in the same lineup. 2 of the hardest hitting players in all of baseball in the same lineup. But you let me know what you think. Again, thanks for checking this out. This has been Tom. We'll talk again soon.